Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Thoughts with Chase. And today, I'm going to start off with an apology. In my last podcast episode, I kind of promised that I would do a bird watching episode. I'd summarize my experience watching birds and then talk about a couple of birds I found in the book. I'm not going to do that this week because I didn't actually do that, at all. And I'm not going to blame circumstances. I'm not going to say I didn't have the time. I'm just going to be upfront and honest with you. I did have the time, and I chose not to spend it doing that because I have trouble committing to things. And this is part of why I do the podcast, is so I can be better at committing to stuff. When I say something, I do it. So do not worry, that episode will come in the future. It is guaranteed to come in the future, probably like a month or so from now, because I'll get into my podcast episode plans later. So if I'm not going to talk about bird watching, then what the hell am I coming on to talk about? What I'm coming on to talk about is the future of the podcast, as well as just, as I said, whatever comes to mind. I feel like that's the truest essence of me that you can get. Past this little soup, past everything else, is I am a person who speaks whatever's on their mind first and just has an extremely chaotic flow, which I understand is not great for the podcast format, but that's the way I am. And I want to share that with people. And if people happen to like the chaotic, random stuff, then of course I continue to do that. But I also like talking about stuff in a somewhat organized fashion. And by that, I mean I take a few notes of research and then I just literally go from there. Sorry, I pause a lot, mostly because I speak really fast in really quick sequence for really long periods of time. So I do need to catch my breath. And also, I just kind of need to think for a moment. Okay, what am I going to say next? What's the next thing to say? Yeah, this is one of those episodes, and trust me, this is not going to be the only episode that is this, like, chaotic. There's probably going to be a lot more of these chaotic episodes. I would probably say one in every 5 is probably going to be a chaotic mess. And I've had 2 within the short sequence of each other simply because I've been trying to get used to the podcast and trying to remember, oh, the podcast is something I need to do. The podcast is something you need to do. And it's not even like that hard at all. It's not a huge investment of time. In fact, compared to content that I normally do, this is an insanely small investment of time. So for context, I recently completed Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the total amount of recordings I have, not counting any of the VODs I probably have to download, is 148 gigabytes. And just for context, my computer has about 500 gigs of storage. So I could probably have done another one of these videos before starting to have storage problems. But still, wow, that is a lot. I kind of came in here thinking I want to talk about the future of my content in 2025 was a topic I wanted to address, but then all of a sudden it just slipped out of my mind as the chaos began and I just started rambling. So, yeah, you know what? Let's go to that because I literally don't have anything else on my mind right now. I'm currently contemplating whether or not to dedicate to something, and depending on whether or not I choose to dedicate to said thing, which a lot of you might know is training for the Olympics, I'm deciding whether or not to actually truly and utterly lock in. At the end of this week, I've been praying, I've been doing a lot of about this because this is something that's really important. Because this will dictate probably for at least the next 5 years what my content upload schedule will be. Because if I choose to do so, I'm going to be spending a lot of time working out. Even when I start out, I'm just going to spend a significant amount of time working out as opposed to having that time free to be able to do content. So I'm probably going to only do 1, maybe 2 uploads a month. But if I choose not to, then I have that time free for content. And I don't want 2025 to become another 2024 where I say I'm going to lock in and then I just completely fall flat and deliver a lackluster performance. So if I don't choose to do it and choose, you know what, I'm going to focus more on my channel, I'm probably going to upload anywhere between 2 to 4 videos a month. And I say 4 because the quickest I'm willing to do uploads, long form uploads, is once a week. Because I don't think I can do faster than that without running into mental health problems. I think that's about the fastest I could probably churn out quality videos, assuming I were spending all the time I possibly could on it. This episode's probably going to be like really short. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out to under 10 minutes, but I usually aim for like 10 to 20 minute podcast episodes, and they all vary in between that time gap somewhere. So, yeah, don't be surprised if this one turns out to be pretty short. Of course, you'll know when it's done, because you can just go down and see the thing and see how long the podcast episode is and see how far you are into it. Which, if you're watching this far into it, I want to thank you, because, you know, I'm literally just rambling here. You could go listen to 50 other people ramble, and yet you're choosing to take time out of your day to listen to me, and I just want you guys to know how much that means to me. Don't worry, I will try to deliver quality content, but sometimes this is the quality content I can come up with. Is just me rambling about whatever comes to my mind. Actually, I do have the next few podcast episodes locked in and set, so before I run out of ideas, let's share that with you now. So this week is obviously just like a ramble week. Next week is gonna be, I'm gonna tell you about like my path in choosing the decision I made about whether or not I want to actually train for the Olympics or not. But no matter what, I will say this, I will have a fitness journey somewhere in my goal. Just whether or not that goal is to just normally get fit, or just get fit to the point where I could go to the Olympics, is the choice I'm faced with. Because it's a pretty big choice. Yeah, it's a scary choice for me, honestly. But I've felt an odd sense of, you're gonna be fine going through this. So, yeah. Next week, I'll share, like, the culmination of this thought process that I've been going through about the Olympics and whether or not I really want to dedicate to it. Because if I am going to dedicate to it, I'm going to start, like, come Monday, I'm going to, like, start grinding. And by grinding, I mean, like, waking up at 5 a.m., going on a jog, coming back, doing like, an hour or two long workout, take a rest where I might do my content or whatever, then go right back into, then I might go back into a second workout. I don't know. I have a workout like plan, but I'm not sure how I'm going to execute that. If I'm going to do it all in one stretch, or if I'm going to like segment it or whatever. I don't know. But another part of that's related to that, and is something I'm going to do regardless of what I choose, because my entire family is doing it, is improving our diet. And again, more of the specifics about what the heck is in foods, I might do someday, because that's a very interesting topic about what's in food. And yeah, because I think there are two kinds of people when it comes to them eating junk food. One are the people who don't know that it's harming their body. They just think it's good, it's delicious. They don't really understand what's going on. Or two, people do know that it's hurting their body, but they either can't afford an alternative, or they don't care enough to change. Anyway, as I said, this is going to be a pretty short one, so that's all I have, really. No, wait. Why am I going, like, ending the podcast, and I literally didn't even get to the next 2 weeks? I'm a moron. Yeah, no, don't click off. It's not the end of the video. Please scroll down and see it's not the end of the video. I did not mean to, like, hit you with the fake out as a genuine thing. I genuinely thought, well, I don't have anything else to talk about. And then I remembered, no, wait, you still have to talk about the other 2 weeks. And I'm like, wait, no, they're gonna click off because I said it was the end. Well, but at least I can just have this laugh to myself. So the week after that little thing where I talk about what I ultimately chose, I'm going to do my Q&A. So, for context, every 10 episodes on this podcast, I am going to be doing a Q&A with my fans. I'll post on Discords, I'll probably post on other stuff. I won't answer a question if it's already been answered in the last Q&A, but yeah, I'll answer those questions. It'll be a bit of a longer episode because I'll pick about 20 questions again to actually go through. And any questions I don't answer in that podcast, I'll put in a queue so that I can do them in the next podcast when I do the next Q&A 10 episodes from now. And then after the Q&A, I have probably another topic. If I'm being honest, I'm probably going to check out one of my fact books and then just share a bunch of fun facts I found out from it. I'm going to do research to make sure that the facts in the books are actually true before sharing them, because I do know that some of the book's information might be outdated. So even if it is outdated, I might just say, oh, back when this was the case, this was true, but now here's like, for example, if something says that something is like the tallest whatever in the world, but then something else comes after that fact was posted in that book and says, hey, this is actually taller than this or faster than this, then I'll say, oh, back when this fact was made in like X 2012 or whatever, this was true, but now it's not. And then I'm going to do the bird watching one, because I definitely want to do the bird watching one, but I need a bit more time for that one. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but this week and probably the following week are kind of like a quote-unquote break from the podcast, which means I don't really want to have to put a lot of effort into doing research for this kind of stuff. I don't want to have to put a lot of effort in taking notes and do all the stuff, but yeah. And now that I've discussed all 4 of the next month of podcast episodes, that will actually be all, because I do not have anything else to talk about. All I have to say is thank you for watching. If you like the video, you know what to do. I'm not going to spell it out for you because I hate doing that, and I think it's way, way too cliche. Anyway, see you all next week.